Welcome back, everybody, to another video. Now, I'm going to keep this video short, sweet, and simple. I'm by myself, so there's nobody to talk to, just me, myself, and I. I saw the poll. You guys said for me to upload more. I won't be able to upload on Wednesdays starting next week because I'm going to be doing my own radio show for sports called Chalice's Palace because my last name is Chalice. So I'm very excited to do that. So unfortunately, I won't be able to upload then, but I still plan on uploading regularly on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and that's it. Because I can't do Wednesdays. I might be able to. A short little video, but I can't do Fridays, and I probably won't be able to do Wednesdays. But anyway, I just want to keep a short, simple video, and first I'm going to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. What an immaculate comeback. I mean, down 0-3, then go 1-1, and then go, 4-0? We haven't lost a game in a month. If Kirk was still here, Kirk would be going, how do you like that? You like that? You like that. That's what Kirk would be saying. Joshua Dobbs played an absolutely amazing game. Nobody can tell me any different. Dobbs, he's been here for 4 days. He's been in Minnesota for 4 days. Has not taken a single snap in practice. Probably doesn't even know everyone's names yet. But yet goes in. He throws 20 for 30, exact same as Patrick Mahomes did. 158 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and on the ground, 7 rushes for 66 yards with 1 touchdown. And one of those big runs, it was a 20-plus yard run on 4th and 7. He doesn't hit it, the game's over. What does he do? He goes out there and he runs. That's showing grit. The only problem with that is, inside that game, Kirk Cousins is injured. Nick Mullins is injured. Then you have Jaron Hall, the rookie, who's the third stringer. He comes in, he gets injured, and he had himself a game before he got injured. 5 for 6, 78 yards through the air, and 2 rushes for 11 yards on the ground. And he was on a touchdown drive before he got injured. Okudah should have been thrown out of that game for that hit, and he should have been thrown out of the game for the KJ Osborne hit. If you guys know, I'm a big KJ Osborne fan. And it's just terrible to see what happened to him. But Josh Dobbs just had an absolutely amazing game. He not taking a snap in practice yet, still learning some guys' names, and he just goes out there and gets the first touchdown game-winning drive in his career. And you got to think, KJ Osborne left with an injury. Justin Jefferson's already gone with an injury. So you got to rely on Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, which he did. Alexander Madison became the third best receiver on the team. He had 49 yards and a touchdown. The team played pretty good. Now, when you look at rushing, Dobbs, of course, the most. Alexander Madison, 16 carries for 44 yards. That's not that great in itself. Cam Akers, 8 for 25. That's all right. Jaron Hall, 2 for 11. As a quarterback, I'll give it to you. But back to my point, the quarterback situation is just, it's whack in Minnesota. Kirk Cousins, your starter's out. Nick Mullins is out. Jaron Hall is out. Josh Dobbs is playing now. If Josh Dobbs got injured, Cam Akers would have to come in as an emergency quarterback, and he just left, and now he has an Achilles injury. He just tore his Achilles. So if Dobbs would have gotten injured on that last drive, nobody knows who would have played quarterback. I mean, obviously the coaches know, but I'm in a Vikings group chat and we were all like, who's going to play quarterback? None of us knew. And you look at the defense. Jordan Hicks with a sack. They surprisingly held Daniil Hunter to no sacks. But Caleb Evans, 5 tackles, 2 assists. He had a forced fumble. Caleb Evans just played absolutely amazing. Josh Metellus left with an injury. I'm pretty sure he came back inside the game. But that game-winning drive, it's a thing of you have somebody like Brandon Powell, an ex-Falcon, who can come in and he can play at a high level and catch a game-winning touchdown pass. That's what you need. That is what you need. Brandon Powell has shown, even though 2 catches for 15 yards and a touchdown, he's shown through the past few games that he's a person that can go he can fill a spot easily. He's already shown that. But he's also shown, hey, I'm 28, so I still got a couple years left inside the tank. If you want, I can play. I can start. Because you look at the start of the season, first game versus Philadelphia, 0-0-0. Then versus the Chargers, 1-1-5. Versus Kansas City, 4 receptions on 6 targets, 43 yards. Versus the Bears, 3 receptions on 4 targets for 20 yards. Versus the 49ers, 4 receptions on 5 targets, 64 yards. Versus Green Bay, 1 reception for 3 targets, 10 yards. And versus Atlanta, 2 receptions for 3 targets on 15 yards and a touchdown. He's shown, hey, I can step up. I can have those big plays. And that's what you want in a player. His stat line doesn't look that great on itself. 15 for 22 is pretty nice, but 157 yards isn't great. 1 touchdown on the season isn't great, but what do you expect? This man came in inside the season. He probably wasn't even supposed to play because it goes Justin Jefferson and then it goes Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne. They can swap back and forth. I put Jordan Addison at 2, KJ at 3. Then at 4, you have Jalen Naylor. At 5, I would think that you'd have Tristan Jackson at 5. You have these guys that play great, and he might take their job from them. He might start over Naylor. Who knows? Maybe not, but he could. He could. There's a very high likelihood that he could take their job. The Vikings, they signed a Minnesota quarterback, a Golden Gophers quarterback, on their practice squad, so who knows what they're going to do from this point forward. But it has been announced that next week, Dobbs will be starting versus the Saints. Now, I don't know yet whether or not Justin Jefferson will be playing in that game, but if he does, you can expect Dobbs himself has not taken a snap in practice, and he put up 158 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 30 for 20. And a game-winning drive. Not taking a single snap, not knowing the playbook at all, probably. Not knowing any of the players, really. He doesn't even probably have a house. Yet he still does that. That's, I was saying to myself, Kirk got injured at a weird time. I wish that if he would have gotten injured, I wish he would have gotten injured sooner. That way, we could have more time to trade for a good quarterback or this and that. See what our other quarterbacks can do. But at the same time, it's also a thing of you never want your quarterback injured. But at the same time, it's a thing of, you want to put somebody on that spot. You put Jaron Hall on that spot. If we didn't if we didn't trade for Dobbs, it would have been, Hall, our season is on the line for you. Like, you have to take us from 4-4 to the playoffs. We can do that. We probably would have done that with Kirk. We need you to do that. And Dobbs, after the Hall injury, stepped up. Don't get me wrong. I'm with my friend Spencer in a group chat. I want Hall to start. Hall has a lot of good things that you can look at. He has great accuracy, which has been presented inside the 2 games that he's played. This game, he was on track to snap my statistician Marvin in half. He was, he by my stats, compared to his stats, if his stats would have stretched for mine for like completions and everything, he would have probably, I think he would have had like a 520-yard game. Now, would that have happened? No. But on a couple drives, he went 5 for 6, 78 yards. Then Dobbs comes in, fumbles twice, gets sacked in the end zone. We're all like, man, get rid of this guy, get rid of this guy, get rid of this guy. He comes in as a game-winning drive. Just a huge, huge shocker. Now, this next game, we don't know yet whether or not KJ will be playing. I don't think he should play after that nasty head injury. He should have at least 1 week out. Obviously, Cam Akers isn't playing. He tore his Achilles. So, Justin Jefferson, if he comes back, he can fill KJ's shoes. KJ, yeah, he's not the wide receiver 1, but you can say he's a very consistent wide receiver. He gets 40 yards in a game. He gets on an average of like 20 to 40 to 60 yards a game, like 20 to 60. Justin Jefferson, you'll see him have 200-yard games and then 12-yard games. KJ's way more consistent. I'm not saying he's better. I'm just saying he's consistent. Justin Jefferson could be back to face his home team because he grew up in that area. He'll be back to face, maybe he'll be back to face the Saints. And if he faces the Saints, we have a high chance at winning. You got to think, Josh Dobbs played, and Josh Dobbs was able to get familiar with TJ Hawkinson and Jordan Addison. Very familiar with Hawk, because Hawk had 7 catches for 69 yards. Then familiar with Addison for 5 catches, 52 yards. Madison's going to have to be running a lot. Ty Chandler is going to probably have to come in and fill that running back space. And Ty Chandler, I think, can do a great job. He's a young guy. He can probably absorb a lot of hits. He's small. He's very fast. This man, he gets the ball, he's already at the line. You really can't tackle him for a loss. The one thing that's bad with him is he cannot find the holes in the line like a starting running back should. But, nobody can really be playing worse than Madison. Don't get me wrong, Madison isn't playing horrendous. But Madison had 0.9 rushing yard per carry. He had less than a yard per carry, and then he turned it around and got 3 per carry. But still, Alexander Madison is not a starting back. I'm not saying Ty Chandler is. But what I am saying is the Vikings should have traded for a running back at the trade deadline. They should have traded for another running back. The good news is the Vikings got Cam Akers for free because Cam Akers didn't get 500 all-purpose yards with the Vikings, which means that the picks don't swap because that was the conditions on the picks. So those picks don't swap. So the Vikings just got him for free. So the Vikings keep their 6th, but they don't get the 7th. So, they won that, but it sucks that he's out. But we did sign a young quarterback, so that's pretty good. But anyway, because I'm trying to make this show short and sweet, that way I can just edit it and upload it. We have to talk about the Timberwolves. The T-Wolves. The T-Wolves. I don't know what this team is. They go when they lose to the Hawks. Oh, they lose to the Raptors. I don't understand how they could have lost to the Raptors. The Raptors, I just don't see it. Come in, get beat by the Hawks. Hold the Nuggets to under 100 points. They beat the Nuggets. You beat the Nuggets by 21. That's an accomplishment and a half. They just won the NBA Finals, and you're able to hold them to under 100 points? I don't know how. And then they go face the Jazz. Not a shocker. They beat the Jazz by 28 points. Not a shocker. Another 20-plus point game. Then they face the debatably best team this year. I came in here. I was telling my friends, the Celtics are going to be the best team in basketball this year. There's no way around it. They are the best team in the league this year. Timberwolves come in, and like they did with the Nuggets, they hand the Celtics their first L of the season. They win by 5. So they win by 2 baskets. They win by 2 baskets. You look at it, Jason Tatum, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 32 points. Yeah. Porzingis, Mr. Tingus Pingus, 20 yards. That's 20 yards. I'm still on football. Excuse me. 20 points. Drew Holiday, 12 points. Jaylen Brown, 26. For you to hold Jaylen Brown under 30, in my opinion, is an accomplishment. Jaylen Brown is amazing. I don't know how. I don't know how they did that. Then you have Anthony Edwards, 38 points. This man is crazy. 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 38 points. Naz Reid, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 14 points. Karl Anthony Towns, he didn't put up the points like he does, but 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 7 points. 7 points, not that great. 10 rebounds, that's pretty good. But nobody can show up like Anthony Edwards did. Karl Anthony Towns, he can have a game like that. Yeah. I don't know. Because that was wild. That is wild. Karl-Anthony Towns, 21 points versus the Nuggets. You look at it, Anthony Edwards, 24. Anthony Edwards is a beast. Anthony Edwards is... I can't even... Anthony Edwards is just... He's amazing. He's just... It's shocking. 28.2 points a game. That's 9th in the league. He's tied for 32nd in rebounds, tied for 9th in assists. He's a good player. But they have a game versus the Pelicans. 4-3 versus 4-2. Now, this game means whoever gets in the 4 spot. If the Pelicans win, that means the Pelicans move up to 5-3. Timberwolves drop to 4-3. Pelicans move up to 4. T-Wolves drop 5, maybe lower. Now, if the Pelicans lose, T-Wolves win. T-Wolves stay inside that 4 spot. They stay in that 4 spot. So they need this win. They need it. So I think in this game, I think Rudy Gobert is going to pop off. I think Rudy Gobert is going to get 23 points. Rudy Gobert is going to get 23 points. Anthony Edwards is going to get 32. And I don't know. I have them winning 111 to 90. No, 111 to 102. Mark it. Put in your books 111 to 102. Now, last but not least, the Minnesota Wild. Now, the Minnesota Wild dropped to 7th inside the Central Division. You look at them now. They're 1 win behind the Coyotes. 1 win behind the Coyotes. And then they take 4th. They were originally in 4th after beating the Islanders 4-2, which is an impressive win on itself. The Islanders 5-3-3. Wild 5-5-2. An impressive win on itself. But they come in. You look at their season so far. Beat the Panthers. Then they lose to the Maple Leafs. Not a shocker there. Beat the Canadiens. Lose to the Kings. Lose to the Blue Jackets. Beat the Oilers. Lose to the Flyers. Lose to the Capitals. Lose to the Devils. Lose to the Devils. Then win against the Rangers and win against the Islanders. You look at the standings. They're 5. They're 5 in the standings. They can still make the playoffs. They're still in the fight for it. Just like every other Minnesota team. The Vikings are in the playoff spot right now. The Wild are right outside of a playoff spot right now. With the T-Wolves, it's too easy to say, oh, this person's making the playoffs, this person's not making the playoffs, or this team, not person. This team's making the playoffs, this team's not. It's too easy to say that. It's not easy enough to just, for it to actually happen. Like, I can say right now, Nuggets are making the playoffs, but the Nuggets can get stomped out for the rest of the season and come in last in the division. Is it going to happen? Probably not. Could it? Yeah. Jokic gets injured. They're not really doing anything. If Jokic is done, they're practically done. I mean, all that needs to happen is Jokic gets injured and then Jamal Murray's out for a couple games and they lose. If Jokic has a season-ending injury, let's say Jokic falls and he shatters his elbow, or he snaps his knee in half, their season's over. Same with the T-Wolves. Anthony Edwards gets injured. Oh, season's over. Season is over if he gets injured. Because you're not going to have a person like, yeah, you'll have a person that'll play on that level, but you're not going to have a person that brings as much explosiveness to the game as Anthony Edwards. That's not going to happen. So, as you can tell, my voice is raspy. I was recording stuff before I came in here, but that's just really all I had to talk to you about today. Tomorrow, I will be recording a video, most likely announcing my picks for this upcoming week in the NFL. So I'm going to be going through all my picks, who I think is going to win, who I think is going to lose. I will be talking about that, starting with the Panthers versus Bears. I will see you in the next video. Y'all be safe. And I guess that's it. You're